there's something about, everyone going after a deal and only one person gets that deal, but it's not like everyone goes and kicks tires or hates their competition.
Welcome. This is the Hot Real Estate Investing Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping others through real estate investing. Our hosts interview guests from all aspects of real estate investing who generously share valuable experiences and advice. Whether you're starting out or an experienced investor, this is the show for you.
Hello, and how's it going? My name is Travis Shelton, and welcome to the Hot Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we discuss the mindset, motivation, and methodologies of successful real estate investors. And today is the first show or episode of 2024, and super excited to share with you guys the new format and the new focus for this podcast. So today, we're just going to talk about the new focus of this podcast, and that is the mindset, motivation, and methodologies of successful real estate investors. So in the past, where we really focused on maybe just interviewing successful real estate investors and those that wanted to help others, we're going to pull in a couple different areas this year. We're going to look at not only those methodologies and having those same successful type real estate investors come and share their experiences and their knowledge and share some best practices with you guys as the audience, but we'll also, as I've coached several different real estate investors and entrepreneurs and successful people, identified that there's something lacking there, right? We have to have these other things. We have to have the right mindset, and we have to have the right motivation to be able to ultimately have success in the methods that we choose for our real estate investing careers and endeavors. And so that's today we're going to kind of lay that groundwork for the rest of the year and what we'll focus on. And so again, I'm not the expert, right? There's a lot of gurus out there. I'm here as someone who's invested in real estate since 2009 that want to share some of my experiences, give you some of my best practices, share some of my resources and my contacts, and things that I've learned from sharpening my saw over these, over a decade of real estate experience, to be able to share with you guys, hopefully some tips and tidbits that help you in your day-to-day life and your day-to-day investing career. And so one of the reasons why I really wanted to focus on, some of these mindset motivations, and like always, we kick off these shows with some motivation. And so the motivational quote I'm going to share with you today is kind of that inspiration for the switch in this podcast. And that's a guy by the name of Brian Buffini, who has his own podcast. And Brian Buffini says, mindset gives you direction. Motivation provides the driving force, and methodologies sustain you. Okay, I'm going to read that again. Mindset gives you direction. Motivation provides the driving force, and methodologies sustain you. And so when I'm thinking about, everything that's needed to be a successful entrepreneur or a successful real estate investor, right? It comes down to really these three main buckets, I would say, right? You got to have the right mindset. You have to be able to stay motivated, and you have to be able to select the right methodologies to ultimately provide success. And that's why this podcast is going to really reshape to focus on those three areas throughout, whether it be interviews or panel style discussions, or just some of these one-on-one coaching type, hopefully motivational type discussions that are a little bit shorter, but we're not going to keep ourselves to that kind of short and quick. That if we're having a really great discussion with an entrepreneur, we might have a long form discussion, just because I want to be able to share as much value with you, the audience, as possible. And also, if I'm having a great discussion, I don't want to have to keep it to 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And I don't want to have that person on 3 or 4 times to have one discussion that I ultimately think will provide the most amount of value for you guys as the audience, or for me just having the discussion. And so let's go. Let's dive right in. As always, we're going to kind of focus on those three main topics. And so number one is going to be the mindset. And so if you look up, like, what is mindset, right? Mindset is a set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself, right? So you might hear, especially if you're an entrepreneur, about, growth mindset or abundance mindset as opposed to fixed mindset. And this is a real thing, and I think any entrepreneur, anyone that's going to be successful out there in the real estate investing world, and what I found of real estate investors in my own community is there's an abundance mindset and a growth mindset that I just love about real estate investors. There's something about everyone going after a deal and only one person gets that deal, but it's not like everyone goes and kicks tires or hates that their competition. The numbers work for one person, they don't work for another person. Someone had a different business plan, someone was okay with a different margin. Things can come down to so many different variables. But what I find almost ubiquitous, or that exists within all individuals within real estate investing, or at least those that I tend to see as most successful, is that growth and abundance mindset. And so, again, it's that the mindset is those the set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself, and it influences how you feel, how you think, and how you behave. Okay. So whether you have that growth mindset or that fixed mindset, right? Whether you think there's a plethora of deals out there for real estate investing for you right now or in 2024, or if you think there's not any deals, right? If you're always the pessimist or if you're always the optimist, right? That mindset means a whole lot when it comes to real estate investing and being successful. And I challenge you to go out there and try to find some really, really successful fixed mindset individuals. I challenge you to go out there and find some really, really successful fixed mindset real estate investors. And I bet you'd be really hard pressed to really find some of those individuals that truly have a fixed mindset and are extremely successful as real estate investors. Okay. So we want to have that growth mindset and that abundance mindset. And so kind of switching gears then to the second part of our focus on this show, and that's the motivation, right? And motivation's the general desire or the willingness of someone to do something, right? It's an internal state that propels individuals to engage in goal directed behavior. And we're going to talk a lot about goals. The next podcast is about goals, right? We've had podcasts about goals before. We're not going to stop talking about goals in this show. It's something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that you should be very passionate about if you're someone that wants to be successful. And so, again, that motivation, we've talked about it before. I love the Zig Ziglar quote that says, motivation doesn't last and neither does bathing. That's why it's recommended daily, right? And so we're going to go through spurts throughout life, throughout the day, throughout the month, that you're going to be more motivated or less motivated, right? There's some days we wake up, we really want to go to the gym. There's some days we really want to wake up and we want to get a bunch of stuff done. And there's other days, it's dragging, maybe it's cloudy outside. Maybe you're not really feeling great. Maybe you had a bad day. Maybe you got some bad news. But what I find most common in the most successful entrepreneurs is they can dust themselves off, they can pick themselves up, and they have a way to get themselves back into the right mindset, right? Or to get themselves back motivated, whether it be some sort of ritual they have, maybe it's, just praying, maybe it's going to church, maybe it's a mastermind, maybe it's a conference, but there's always just a different way, right? For different people to be able to get motivated. And again, what I find most common is those people that are most successful are the people that can be self-motivated. Okay. It's the people that can motivate themselves and they're not relying on someone else to motivate themselves. They know how, when they're down or when they're feeling down, how to snap themselves back out of it. And that's different for all of us, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to do, just because you're down one day, it means it's a total failure of a day. We need down days too. And it might take someone, a couple hours to get out of a funk one time. It might take somebody a day or two, but it's the commonality that you're able to get out of that funk and you're able to know that you need a little bit of motivation, and it's able to look within yourself and know what motivates me. Do I need more time with my family? Do I need more time with my friends? Do I need more time, vacation, to get locked and loaded to be able to be better on this podcast. And for example, I needed a little bit of a break as I was transitioning from 2013, how I wanted to do the show this year. All the things that I had going on, doing 2 closings at the end of 2013 or 2023. I needed a break. I needed a little bit of time to reset myself, to reset how I wanted to deliver content to you, the audience, and for this podcast in 2024 so that I could be my very best. And so I'm motivated as heck to deliver an amazing podcast this year with amazing guests, with amazing content, and just basically blow the socks off you guys and hopefully grow this to something even better than it is currently is. And if not, heck, I'll have fun doing it nonetheless. So strap in. We're going to have a great 2024, guys. And then last is the methodologies. And I think that's what we've kind of focused the most on, right? We've talked to a lot of real estate investors, a lot of people within the real estate game. And we've talked a lot about the methodologies. We've talked different types, right? So when we talk methodologies, what do we mean? We mean, is it single family housing? Is it multifamily housing? Is it behavioral homes? Is it mobile homes? There's all kinds of different methods within real estate investing that you can invest in. Notes, triple net leases, land. There's a plethora, right? So we've gone out there and we've talked to a lot of different people that do a lot of different types of investing. And while I might be a little bit, and the reason I do that is because every single one of these different methodologies ultimately can kind of help maybe in another form, right? Whether it be you're doing multi-family value add like myself. Well, fixing and flipping helps with that, right? Having contractors, it's a similar thought process. Instead of one flip, maybe you're doing a 30 unit flip. When you're looking creative financing works in every little realm of the world. And so what I'm trying to do is just continue to educate and inform you all on different ways that you can stack all this different knowledge to ultimately have the most success in real estate investing. And so one of the deals I close on, we'll talk about in a future episode, is this deal in South Carolina that I used creative financing. The owner carried the note and I was able to put less than 20% down on a deal with a lower interest rate than I would have gotten any kind of, traditional financing on in a multifamily asset that I'll ultimately be able to put, agency debt on. But it was a really great opportunity for me at the end of 2023 to get into some more multifamily property. So for me and my family to hold on to long term. There's a plethora of value to that. Again, we'll kind of dive really deep into that deal here in the next couple episodes. And I'll share that journey with you guys, so follow me on social media, follow the Hot REI brand out there. I'll be sure to show tips, tricks, some videos, some photos of that deal and the other deals that I'm currently doing. I want to share a lot more this year. I want to be a little bit more real. I don't want these things to be so polished. I want these things to be a little less polished so that you guys know that you can do this yourselves, that you guys can get out there and do this. And it doesn't take a camera crew. It doesn't take a lot to be able to get a lot of good content out there to help other people, to share your knowledge and to help other people and help everyone achieve more in this world. So again, guys, I really appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in. I appreciate the downloads. If you guys wouldn't mind, share this with a friend. I don't ask for much, but I would love that. If you like the podcast, for you to share it with a friend, recommend it to a buddy. I'd love to grow the listening this year, again, just to get this content out to more and more people. So again, this year, we're going to focus more on the mindset, the motivation, and the methodologies of successful real estate investors. Look forward to you tuning in all year. Follow me on all my social media brands. And if you could, take action today to move your investing forward. Take care and God bless.